Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're joining from. My name is Aaron, and I've been a mentor for the math circles for the Purulia group for the past almost a year. So we started in November 2024, and it's been going up till now. I'll just give a little background about who I am first. So I'm in my grade 12 year, so final year of high school, as an IB diploma student at Milton Mills High School. So I'm located in Canada. I'm extremely passionate about math and computer science. So I guess if you're not passionate about something, it's very hard to teach it. So that's why I firstly took on this role of being a mentor. And apart from academics, I'm very involved in stuff like music, programming, drawing. I do play the piano and alto saxophone. And in general, I have a very strong interest in these types of leadership and community initiatives. So, what are math circles? So, they're actually a bit different from a classroom setting. So, they are weekly interactive and collaborative problem solving sessions, which means it's not just the students who are collaborating, but it's also me, the mentor, who is solving these problems with them so that students are able to learn better. We encourage creative thinking and mathematical discovery rather than rote learning and exam preparation. So rather than a kind of memorization style, we encourage this kind type of analytical thinking. And this is inspired by the Russian math circles. So since last year, November 2024, I've held about 72 math circles. And over those 72 math circles, I've introduced and covered over 25 unique mathematical themes in depth. Specifically, I started with foundational topics and recreational mathematics, so parity, divisibility, remainders. And I found that these tie well with mathematical games. And this is a very nice way to open the math circles, as it's a nice way to ease in so that the students feel more comfortable working with these types of problems. And then later we moved on to specific topics like number theory, geometry, advanced topics like logarithms, graphs, and Cauchy-Schwarz inequality, and also combinatorics. So the format of the math circles, you might be wondering why this is a bit different than a classroom setting. So first, I would usually introduction to theory. So if we're, generally solving some problems that are miscellaneous, I wouldn't open up with theory. But otherwise, I would give a little context. So for example, if we're doing algebra in the math circle, I would open up with some like explaining Vieta's formula or maybe the quadratic formula. And then we'll move on to some warm-up exercises. So these can include very simple problems like finding the sum of the roots if given a quadratic equation. And then we'll move on to topic-specific problems, which tend to be a little more advanced. And these really encourage the students to think a little more, think creatively and analytically. And finally, I'll give some homework questions which they can work on. And if they have any questions on those problems, we can always discuss them in the next math circle. So, what to expect when a student joins the math circle? So, as a mentor, I would usually prepare 5 or more problems, depending on the difficulty of the topic. So, if I was doing something simple, I would prepare more, maybe around 8 to 10 problems, and I would prepare these in advance of each session. And during the circle, students are actively asking me questions throughout the problem solving process. And this makes it easier for them to find different types of ways to approach the problem. And to ensure independent thinking, I would give a maximum of 3 hints. And these problems are presented and solved either by me if the students are still stuck on the problem, or I'll get some student to share what they have gotten. And again, all possible solutions are analyzed and discussed. So maybe if one student got one solution, another student got another solution, we would compare both solutions. And this kind of encourages students to deepen their understanding and think of a problem in different ways. So, any questions? I think we can go into the discussion mode.
Okay, sounds really interesting, Aaron. I thought about having a little, interactive session with you as well on this. Um, can you hear me clearly, Aaron? Can you hear
Yes, I
me?
can.
Oh,
Yes.
great. So yeah, so basically, can you tell me a little bit more about the students who you worked with? Like,
Sure. So, mhm.
what are the how many students? What are their backgrounds? If you know something about that, will you tell me that?
Sure. So I'll start by saying that we have two main groups of students. So we have the junior and we have the senior. I meet with the junior kids. So I just met with them an hour ago. We just had a math circle an hour ago for the junior students. And senior students, we meet tomorrow typically, so on Sundays. Junior students, I would say they range from grades 5 to 8, maybe. I'm not exactly sure. And then senior students are mainly at the high school level. And I would say circles can range from anywhere from 2 students to 5 students.
Okay. And do you know anything about their like background in the sense that uh, family backgrounds, like what kind of work their parents do?
Uh, I don't believe I would be able to speak on that. Not sure of that
Okay.
information. Mhm.
Okay, because I personally visit this particular school, so maybe
Mhm.
for the audience I could say a little bit more about that. Basically, this is a school that is kind of in a rural setting. Rural setting means it's kind of deep into the Chotanagpur plateau region of India, where the number of first generation learners is very high. So most of these kids who are in this particular program, math circle program, they actually never had an idea about a world of mathematics like this. So they basically are focused on the school curriculum in the past. That's what has happened. And thanks to Aaron, I must commend you that you consistently work with these kids. And this year, what we saw is some of these kids who were attending your math circles, they are now able to join the, like, obviously we don't charge them anything, but they're able to join the main program, which earlier could did not happen because the main program is quite hard at Cheenta. So that can be a little bit challenging for a newcomer. But thanks to Aaron's consistent, so this is the main part. I mean, we have been trying math circles for like last 8 years all across rural Bengal, and students mainly lead them. Students who have been, so Aaron himself is with us for I don't know how many years, Aaron, 7 8 years, 5 6 years at
Yes.
least. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, quite a long time. Students who have been working with us for a long amount of time, they usually volunteer in this sort of thing, and I personally think that it's a great experience, because you get to meet people who are at a complete different place in the world and in social dynamics and stuff like that. In fact, I would ask you this, Aaron. What about the accent? It's a little thing, but I just wanted to understand a little bit about it. So, you have a completely different accent. You're born and brought up in Canada, and these kids
Mhm.
are like, they must have a very different accent. Was that an issue, or how did it happen?
I would say it's a very minor issue because, again, I'm also Bengali, so I'm able to kind of understand the Bengali accent. But then I would also say that when you're doing mathematics, it's more of a language rather than a topic. So even explanations or concepts, when I'm teaching them or working with them, there's no really barrier because mathematics, as I said, it's a language we communicate in math. So there's kind of a mutual understanding between them.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to think about it. Mathematics itself is a language which is kind of beyond this. I mean, we have had students who are like completely from a different part of the world working with, let's say, with kids from Sundarbans who don't even know a lot of English. I mean, these kids in Purulia, they know some English. There are other people who are completely unaware of it. And we work with quite a few schools like this in rural parts. In fact, people who are hearing this talk, if you know such a school, you want Cheenta to work with them, we would be very happy to be a part of that. So, Aaron, let's get into the last part of this discussion and then we can open up the floor for questions. And this is a
Sure.
very practical part of the entire story. So we ask kids to take participate in this sort of leadership roles because it's also useful for I would say university applications in the long run. It's useful for job applications. I would also imagine. I mean, it has happened in the past. We're doing this for 15 years. We know that this sort of things can really add, that little punch to your resume. But can you tell me a bit about that? What you are in the university application cycle right now, isn't it? So how do
Yes.
you think about it as well?
So as you said, I'm in the university application cycle right now. So I'm currently applying to many universities, and I've noticed that a lot of these universities, they're not just looking at your marks, your grades, but they're also very, very focused on your extracurricular activities. So what you're doing outside of the classroom. And for an experience like this, where you're showing that, you're not only passionate about maths, but you're also impacting a community at the same time. I think they really value that. It's a very strong thing to have on your resume because it shows what kind of person you are. Not only that you love maths, but you're able and you're willing to kind of use your knowledge to help other people learn too. So I think that's a very good thing to have, not only for university applications, for job applications too. Just shows what kind of person you are.
Exactly. I mean, that's exactly the case. And I'll tell you a fun fact. I mean, I probably have worked with thousands of students in the last decade and a half. And what happens really is this: university applications are at the back of our mind. We know this is great for it, and some students start for that. But then the process transforms you. So maybe you start for that, but then when you keep on rolling with it, you derive happiness, you derive other kinds of non-tangible things. And I mean, I would also say this. I mean, it's a wealth of knowledge that Aaron has created because there's 72 sessions that he has managed to conduct. All of them have worksheets, and he prepares the worksheets and he tunes the worksheet based on the response of the previous class or previous session, which is, I think, a fantastic thing to have a document about. So, Aaron, if you could share those problem sets. I think you already have a Google
Mhm.
Drive for it, but we can make a
Yes.
LaTeX document out of it. Showrodeep actually did a LaTeX document like this.
Mhm.
I think you've seen it, right? It's with the kids from Sundarban. So he did a fantastic job as well. Very nice kid right now in ISI Calcutta. Okay, so we are at a very end of this session. Let's take some questions. If the viewers have any questions, you can have your hands raised. There is a hand raise tool in Google Meet. If you want, you can raise your hand and ask a question. Aaron would be happy to answer, or if you have something for me as well. Okay, all right. I don't think we have many questions today. So, Aaron, if we get a question in the YouTube channel or Facebook, we will definitely let you know. Thank you for your effort. Remarkable. I would say it shows a lot of things about your character. I would very much love to work with you in the long run. Okay. All right. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you,
Thank
everyone,
you.
for. Bye. Take care.